Christie is leading the charge against the prescription drug crisis in the United States.
New at 5:30, the governor is breaking down the number of opioid deaths, measuring the human toll in stark numbers. President Trump declared opioid addiction and abuse a public health emergency yesterday. Governor Christie chairs the Trump administration's Commission on Opioid Abuse. He says Congress has to get serious about tackling that problem.
We have 175 people a day dying. We have a 9/11 every 2.5 weeks. Think about this. If that was happening, if a terrorist organization was killing 175 Americans a day on our soil, what would we spend to make it stop? Look, that's what's got to start right now directly.
Governor Christie says the Trump administration is moving to change Medicaid rules in an effort to unlock additional federal funds for addiction treatment. The Opioid Commission will issue its final report next week. And joining us now from Washington is CBS News Face the Nation host John Dickerson. John, happy Friday. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Jessica. Happy Friday to you.
We were just talking about New Jersey's Governor Christie and his work with the Opioid Task Force. He'll be a guest on your show on Sunday.
He will be. We want to talk to him. It was interesting hearing him say, you know, what would the country spend if there were a terrorist attack of the magnitude of the lives lost as a result of opioid addiction? And that's the crucial question, because what the administration has proposed is some money, but not as much money as experts want, certainly, and not as much as was recommended to the president. So it's little bits of money here and there, and some changes in some regulations, and some restrictions are being removed. But it is it's just a question of whether that's really going to do what's necessary to take a serious problem that has two parts. One, those who are addicted now and treatment for them and making sure they're okay, and then also stopping the flow of people into addiction and then the collateral damage of all of this. So there's quite a lot that still has to be discussed.
No question about it. You're also going to have two Republican senators who in their own ways have gone against the president. So what are you hoping to learn from Senator Bob Corker and Senator Susan Collins?
Well, we'll talk to both of them about the policies at the heart of this week's discussion about the president and his competency for the job. Senator Corker obviously has made the most striking comments over the last couple of weeks. He was joined this week by Jeff Flake, the senator from Arizona, who is now resigning and who gave a condemnation of the president from the Senate floor this week. But the question is, what does this mean in terms of actual policy? Where are the disagreements in a way that people can see how it affects their lives? And Senator Corker has a couple of areas. One would be tax cuts. He has some disagreements with the way that those are going forward. That's the #1 agenda at the moment. And then, of course, North Korea, a crucial part of national security.
All right, John, we will see you on Sunday. Thanks so much for joining us.
Sure thing.
And don't forget, you can watch Face the Nation with John Dickerson Sunday morning at 10:30 right here on CBS.